Ahmed Kurier may well become one of them. He's been in London for 6 years, and now the government wants to start deporting people back to his homeland of Somaliland, even though it does not recognise the government there. But if Denmark can do it, then so can Britain, and so Ahmed may mark the beginnings of a common policy.
If the British government send us to Somaliland, we will meet a lot of problems economically, politically and socially.
I have observed something. Why is it that the places that people are highly religious, like hyper-focused on religion, and everything they do is attached to religion, and they cannot separate living their lives from religion, there is so much adversity, so much poverty, not much progress, and if there is progress, it's minimal over time. What is it that happens? Do they use religion as a coping mechanism to all the misery they are experiencing, or what is it? Because I need to understand.
Somalia is a failed state that exports nothing to the world but piracy and terrorism. Somalia as a country contributes nothing. It accomplishes nothing. It has achieved nothing. You'd have to go back thousands of years to find a time when Somalia had any real significance on the global stage.
Hello, YouTube family. I hope that you are doing fine from any part of the world that you are watching today's video from. We have seen a lot of fraud cases happening in Minnesota in United States of America. And we have also seen that these frauds are linked to the Somali community. We have also seen that a lot of deportations are taking place. But when deportations do take place, they end up at the airport. But what normally happens after those people have been deported to different countries in Africa? And remember that the deported Somalis are now crying out because they are facing the harsh realities in life. Not because America was perfect for them, but because America was a survival for them. Many of these people grew up in the United States, working under low-paying jobs, paying taxes, and also raising their families. And right now, they are facing extreme poverty, unemployment, and also social isolation. Remember that these Somalis, most of them have been deported back to Kenya. And Kenya is facing high unemployment levels. The jobs are scarce. Support systems which were given to them while in the US do not exist, especially in Kenya. And now the reality is harsh. Hunger, depression, and hopelessness. This is what these people are facing. This is not a political slogan. This is a human crisis. And for the Black Americans watching this, the question becomes even deeper. What does justice look like when the system removes people but do not offer a future afterwards? Welcome back to Political Realities, a channel where we dig deep and bring forward what so many people fear to talk about. If you are new here, take a minute to subscribe, to like, and to share today's video. Sit with me. Let's see how people are reacting to what they are facing now after deportation.
This is the failed generation of Somalia. The generation that has been leading Somali politics for the last 30 years. So what have we gotten from this? Let's look at the numbers. Around 70% of Somalis live in extreme poverty. Africa's average is roughly 40%. Over 4.6 million Somalis face acute food insecurity. Somalia is consistently in the top 5 worst hunger crises in the world. 1.8 million children are acutely malnourished. Over 400,000 are severely malnourished. Adult literacy in Somalia is about 41%, one of the lowest literacy rates in the world. Africa's average is close to 70%. The global average is 84%. Over 60% of Somali youth are unemployed. And nearly 70% of the population is under 25. Somalia's life expectancy is 57 years. The global average is 73 years. 1 in 10 children die before the age of 5. That's around 100 deaths per 1,000 births. Globally, that number is about 37. Somalia has more than 3 million internally displaced people. And every single week, hundreds of young Somalis die in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to escape this system for a better life. And yet, we welcome these leaders as heroes. We clap for them. We defend them. even though their results are the worst in the world. So in the end, we can only blame ourselves. Because for them, the system works.
People who spent years calling America racist are now crying online because they're being sent back to the same country they swore was better than here. Y'all like the video right here, follow for more. And let's get into this one. You see the meltdown videos everywhere, tears, anger, demands, but none of them mention the fraud investigations, the expired visas, the money that moved through criminal networks, or the abuse of programs paid for by the taxpayers. The moment accountability shows up, they all act shocked. I look at these videos and all I see is the same contradiction. Somalia is beautiful when they want moral high ground, but Somalia becomes unsafe the moment removal papers arrive. They switch the story depending on what benefits them. The reactions are emotional because the system finally stopped bending. Deportations are happening because laws exist, because agencies uncovered fraud rings, because certain groups are draining millions from health, housing, and social programs that working Americans rely on. There's nothing complicated here. People act like the West owes everyone a comfortable life, like your job is to give everyone else more than what you could give your own family. And that is not how a country works. You cannot build a healthy society by subsidizing the failure of another one. And while all this is going on, the people who should be rebuilding Somalia.
Some of y'all who don't support this actually are doing the most damage with some of your problematic ass takes. Okay, if your only concern about this issue is who's gonna watch little Jimmy when I go to work, who's gonna do that? Nobody would take this amount of money I'm paying them, or who's gonna cut my lawn, or do you know the price of strawberries? What's gonna happen to the price of avocados? Miss me with all of that. If your first reason isn't the human cost, the human perspective, the amount of terror. Do you know that there are so many people that won't even go to the hospital? They're deathly sick, but they're so afraid of being deported, they won't even go to the hospital. Do you know that there are babies being deported? Do you know that there are people that have only known the United States of America that potentially may be deported? And let me say this too. It's a lot of people with my complexion in this predicament as well. So when folks say, Smitty, man, why don't you focus on some black issues? This is a black issue. This is a black issue. So let's focus on the human cost first, second, and third.
Somalia is in the grip of another drought. Families with nothing left at home are fleeing to camps like this in the capital, Mogadishu. Many say hunger is only part of their struggle. They are also escaping fighting in their villages. Kadra Hussein Ibrahim is still mourning her 2-year-old son. She says he died 3 months ago because she couldn't get enough food for him. She once relied on aid agencies, but international funding cuts means she now gets nothing.
I'm worried about my children. I don't have enough food to give them. My husband is dead. I worry about their future. I can't even eat. They are my priority.
Across Somalia, 2 million people live in displacement camps. More arrive in Mogadishu every day, searching for food and safety. The government has declared drought in several regions. Rains have failed yet again, and 4.6 million people need food assistance.
People are not now able to have access to water. The access to water is reducing. The health facilities that were mainly supported by international agencies, by partners, by government, now because of the significant reduction in the funding have closed. So we see more people displaced. I mean, the figures show that almost 1.85 million children are now at risk of malnutrition.
Most are exhausted, hungry. Those already living here do what they can to help. These people have just arrived from villages farther south. The community here has been helping with food and shelter, but aid workers say they are struggling to help because of the aid cuts. Some organizations previously supported by USAID and other donors say they've lost half of their funding. Sayed Ali Aden shows us a school he used to run inside the camp. It was the only one serving displaced children. Now it's closed, the health center too, because the money ran out.
I've been idle for the past year and a half. My own children are not in school. Many of the children I taught now spend their days in the market doing nothing. We can't afford to feed them. Other schools are too far from the camp.
Back at Kadra Ibrahim's house, she's managed to prepare some soup for her children, but she has no idea where tomorrow's meal will come from.
Hello and welcome back. When deportations do take place, the deportees are taken to different places in the world, especially in Africa. Some can be taken to nations where they speak a different language. And remember that Africa was never colonized by one state. This is a continent that was colonized by different people. Like the West people were colonized by the French. Others were colonized by Europeans. So after deportation, many Somalis find themselves in countries where the economy cannot absorb them. Jobs are extremely limited. These people, remember that they speak English and were educated under the American systems. And also, degrees don't transfer. Work experience is dismissed, and also social connections now become even weaker. Unemployment becomes immediate once that person is deported. Without income, rent automatically becomes very impossible. Food insecurity follows after that. Mental health deteriorates rapidly, especially for people who spent most of their lives in the United States and are suddenly treated as outsiders in those countries which receive them. For Black Americans, this story resonates deeply because it mirrors a familiar pattern. Systems that remove people but never provide a real plan for survival afterwards. Deportation is presented as a solution, but the long-term human cost is ignored. Many deported Somalis say America wasn't just a country. It was identity. It was routine and dignity. Losing that overnight creates trauma. Parents cannot provide for their children. Young people feel stuck. Crime, exploitation, and desperation become risks. This conversation is not just about defending crime or ignoring law. This conversation is not about defending the Somalis because of what they did. It's about asking whether punishment without rehabilitation or reintegration creates safety, especially when people are shifted from one nation to another. Black Americans understand what it means to be locked out of opportunities. That shared experience is why this conversation matters today, not as sympathy, but as awareness. The real question is, should deportations happen? Or what responsibility exists after someone is removed from the system? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Be grounded, be informed, and be blessed. Remember to subscribe, to like, and to share today's video.